Money system basics. The money system is the system that determines how much money you get for doing certain actions during the game. This is also very important as good teams are able to communicate and control the money systems, while 5 people just joining a game together don't have the communication to use the money system to their fullest extent. In this video I'll tell you the basics about the money system, and in the next video I'll give you some very detailed examples in how you can use the money system to your advantage. So first off, how much money do you earn? A kill grants you 300, a knife kill 1500. If you are the one planting the bomb, that gives you another 300, and if the bomb is planted, gives the team 800, everybody on the team. But that only happens when you lose the round. So if you're a terrorist and you plant a bomb and you lose the round, you get an extra 800 on the start of the next round. If you're a terrorist and you plant a bomb and you win the round, either by a regular win by killing or an objective win by exploding the bomb, you get 3250 or 3500. I'll get back to this. I'll set it now. So it's always very important, if you can't afford any weapons, the objective should not be to win the round, because it's almost impossible to win the round if you don't have any weapons and the other team does. It should be the objective to plant the bomb, because this gives you more money, and more money means you can buy better or more often weapons. If you defuse, it gives you 300. How much money do you get when losing? When you lose the first round, you get 1400. When you lose the second round, you get 1900. If you lose the third round in a row, that's all in a row, by the way. If you win a round, the entire counter resets. If your third round is 2400 all the way up to 3400, and it caps out at 3400. This is important, so you get an increasingly amount of money the more you lose. This means, however, that if you lose the 6th round, you don't get 3400, but you get 4200 if you plant the bomb. So it's possible to get 4200 in a single round by just planting the bomb and losing it. I wouldn't advise you doing it, but it's still a lot of money. Moving on, how does this affect your gameplay? A full buy. You should always aim at a full buy as a counter-terrorist or a terrorist. This is because you want to make the possibility of you winning the round as high as possible. So you want to have a decent rifle, an M4 or an AK, you want to have a helmet with armor, you want to have a nade, you want to have a flashbang. As a counter-terrorist, some of you want to have a kit and maybe a smoke grenade. If you add that all up together, you get somewhere along 5000, maybe a little bit less. Same as terrorist side, but a full buy on the terrorist side is cheaper and only costs you 4200. You want to do this because if there are 2 people on your team buying a gun and the other 3 people don't have any cash to do so, the likelihood of you winning the round is low, because you just can't win against 5 people with a gun, and you want to have the chances. If you invest in weapons, you want to have a decent chance of winning the round. This also means that if you win the round, you always want to buy, because if you win the round, the other team might not have weapons, and you want to take every advantage you can. So if you win the round and you only have, say you're a counter-terrorist, you win the round, you only have 4000. You can't buy an M4 and a helmet, because that is 4100. So you gotta think to yourself, what do I want to buy? Do you want to buy a helmet and maybe a FAMAS and a nade and a flash, for example? Or do you say, no, I want the M4, I don't need the helmet, I don't need the armor, I buy an M4 and a nade and a flash. It doesn't matter which one you choose, that's all situational and it's all good if you think about it, but the most important thing is, if you win the round you want to buy, and if you buy the round you want a full buy, as close to full buy as possible. Also some examples I do on the money system. If the entire counter-terrorist team has 3900, you don't want to buy, you don't have cash, because if you buy, you can all buy an M4, you can all buy a flashbang and a nade, and you might say, yeah, well, it's not a little, you can buy a lot, but it's quite a big investment for something you're not sure of winning. You want to increase your chances. So what usually is the case is, if the entire CT team has that much money, you all want to buy, for example, a deagle, a desert eagle, maybe a flashbang, because you can try to win the round, you can play very aggressive, mix it up a little bit, have 4 people go to the same bomb site, for example, and then try to win the round that way. And then next round you can do a full buy, and the full buy grants you the biggest possibility of winning the round. This is not always the case. For example, if it is the last round, you always want to buy, of course, very standard, but worth mentioning. If 4 terrorists have 4,500 and 1 terrorist has 3,000, and the one calling the tactic says buy, I would say the same, because 4 terrorists have a full buy, 1 terrorist need to adjust his the things he buys to the money he has. So as a terrorist, you can say, well, I'm just gonna get an AK, maybe a flashbang or a grenade, or you can say, well, I will get an armor, I will get a flash, a nade and a smoke and help my team that way, and the first kill or the first death I'll grab the weapon and then join in the round. Same for the counter-terrorist. If one counter-terrorist has 2800, for example, and the others have way more, like 47, you might want to buy, because that's a tactical decision to make, and you have to think as a CT what you're gonna do. I wouldn't save the money. You can buy a FAMAS, you can buy a smoke and a flash with that if you buy a FAMAS, or a nade and a flash, or you can just say, like the terrorist, you can say, I will buy armor, I will buy a flashbang and a grenade, I will stick to one of my teammates, so either if he dies I can shoot the one killing him, or I can grab the weapon of the guy he killed. So that is really how you should take the money system. You should always look at how much money every single player on your team has, and if it's a tactical decision to buy that round or not buy. And if you do that, you should always do it all together. So if you say we are going to buy, then we are going to buy, and we are going to try to win the round. And if you say we are not going to buy, then you are not going to try to win the round. So there isn't somebody buying a weapon. If one guy has a weapon, you won't win the round. Simple as that. It can happen, but it's not the most logical thing to happen, so it's not the best thing to do. What you can do is say, well, we all have 3,000, next round we can buy, but what we can do is all buy a flashbang now, and all rush to a bomb site to try to get the bomb plant off. Because if we plant the bomb and lose the round, we'll still get 800 extra money. But that's just an example of how you can use the money system to your advantage. So yeah, the money system, it's very important. Always keep in mind, how much money do I have, how much money does my team have, and what are we going to do next round. So if you're going to win the round, you might want to invest, and if you're going to lose the round, you might want to save up. Money system, the basics.